for people that may not be familiar with the special operations community, the AH-6s support the special operations units of the Army. The process of that you just described, of trying out, of applying, going through that selection process, is that something you choose to do, you ask to do? Is that something they come and ask you to do? How does that work? And then what's the mission of of that unit?
Yes, sir. It's an aviators, generally they're about almost mid-career, senior W-2 or junior W-3. They want to go do that. I mean, back in the 90s, and of course, things weren't happening a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because of the current administration then. But anyway, so it's just something that you want to go do. And they don't, they didn't back then, they didn't actively. Now they've got a recruiter that actively goes out to different units, and they'll put on briefs and, hey, we're seeking highly motivated, hardworking people to come do this. And so, yeah, it was just something that, I wanted to do, and that's where the best of the best was. And I wanted to be with the best, work with the best.
Yeah.
I never thought I was the best. I always thought, golly, man, why am I here?
Yeah, right.
How did I get here?
Right.
'Cause, I mean, I walked among giants. I mean, the real deal dudes. And it was exciting. Yeah, it was exciting.
So how does that work with the helicopter that you're flying? Are you moving people around? Are you supporting them from an air support standpoint? What does that look like?
Right. So the regiment's broken down. We have 4 battalions now. Back then, we only had 2. We had 1st Battalion. So that was A Company, B Company, Charlie Company, Delta Company. A Company is the Little Bird, the MH-6 lift. So they have planks on the side of their Little Birds. And they can put, 3 dudes on each side, and they can get into really small places and, rooftop streets, all that. And then B Company, Bravo Company, that's the gun company. That's where the AH-6s are. The AH-6s provide precision surgical close air support for special operations ground forces.
Wow.
And then the other 2, C and D, were the Lift Black Hawk and our DAP. So that's the armed Black Hawk. And then 2nd Battalion was our Chinook. That's our Chinook battalion. We also now have a battalion, 3rd Bats in Savannah, Georgia, and then 4th Bats out at Fort Lewis, out west.
Wow, incredible. You did that, so you joined that unit in mid to late 90s. That's before 9/11, obviously. But when 9/11 happened, that changed kind of the game for everyone in the military at that time.
Life-changing.
What did that do for you, and then where did that take you?
Yeah, that first of all, that was I was in shock. Everybody was in shock because we were all thinking, how in the world could anybody do this in this day and age and this time and the technology that we have? But they got her done. They did. They had a plan. They executed the plan. So for me as a professional soldier, professional aviator, it was, and I'm not kidding, it was my dream come true, because you think of a professional athlete, okay? And he goes to practice every day for 10 years, for 12 years, and never gets to play a game.
Yeah.
Well, that was Greg Coker's case. I mean, many of the guys were combat vets when I got there, but when we deployed in 2001 to Afghanistan, none of us we're all cherries.
Yeah.
There wasn't any combat vets. The first gen of guys had all retired and left. And so, yeah, we were the new ones. We were the new generation.
People outside of the military, I've had this conversation, many times, have a hard time understanding why you'd want to go to war. And they think it's about the violence or the, whatever. It really is exactly what you just said. You train for something and train for something and train for something. You feel like you're good at what you do, but you don't really know until those tracer rounds are coming back your direction and you're trying to figure it out in real time.
Yes. What am I doing here?
I remember, so 9/11 happened. My battalion was supposed to go to Afghanistan in support of what was happening in the country. So we were,
Yes.
it doesn't matter, but we were supposed to do that. We got pulled at the last minute. And I mean, our entire battalion was in a complete state of depression because this was it. I mean, the war's going to be over. We're not going to
Yes.
get a chance to go. This thing's not going to last very long. Everyone remembered Desert Storm, 100 and whatever hours. I mean, it was
96
quick.
hours.
This is going to be the same thing. And it turned out it wasn't that way. But yeah, that's a hard thing for people to understand that aren't a part of that.
It is. It is. Yeah, we're not warmongers but
Yeah.
And I had that conversation with folks. I'm like, we're professionals, and we, God brought us to this place in this time, and it's our duty, one, to serve our country. It's what we volunteered to do.
That's right.
And we take it very, very seriously, especially at that level. I mean, we're the pointy end of the spear.
Sure.
And it's, every man there wanted to be there. And I mean, we were all chomping at the bit. Plus we were angry.
Right. Sure.
Those, they'd killed a bunch of our brothers and sisters, and they had attacked our country. And I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah.
We go find them and kill them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that changes even your job. So you went from, being a pilot, eventually you'd be an instructor in that community as well.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm sure we're getting to your book, but what are some of the experiences there that shaped, how when you come out of the military and you talked about that deep hole that you were in and trying to reconcile some of those things, what were some of those experiences that put you in that place and that you wrote about in your book?
Yes. Yeah, it was, as doggone, that's a tough question. Nobody's asked me that before. I think that, just seeing the atrocities, war is a terrible thing. Don't take it out of context.
Yeah, right. That's right.
It is. And being where I was and the men that I was with, being where we were, you see the atrocities of what humans can do to each other. And, and I thought about that a lot. It was some pretty nasty stuff. And some of the things that I did, we carried dual miniguns and 17-pound rockets on the aircraft, and you engage a human with, a second squirt of minigun, they disappear into a mist. So, and if a guy ever said, "Nah, it doesn't bother me," well, you need to go talk to Doc,
right?
Because you're probably not going to be here any.
There's probably something wrong with you.
Yeah, we had full-time psychologists there to compound the unit, but it was to help us and help our families. And and I've said in the past, the focus has been on the veteran, and by golly, I think there should be, and there is nowadays, but back then there should have been more focus on those family members, those spouses, those kids, because I've seen them with the same symptoms as me, or my buddies or brothers or whatever. And but we're getting better. We're getting better at doing that. Look at Mighty Oaks.
Sure.
It's a whole family concept. It's not just the man or the head spouse, but it's that family. So
that's right.
That's critical in keeping everybody, with self-worth and helping each other out as a family unit. It takes a tribe. And I always say that, it's a tribe, it's a tribe, it's a tribe. And, back to the book is, I say in there at the very beginning, this is not about me, but it's about my team, about our tribe. It's about, our triumphs, our failures, our trials, our tribulations, and that roller coaster that warrior rides. And it doesn't stop when you retire. It doesn't stop when you come home. It's there. It's ingrained in that RAM somewhere back in the brain.
Yep.
And it affects different people differently, and I kind of break it down. You look at these young guys, these 18, 19, 20-year-old Rangers that do an airfield seizure or combat jump, or we go hit targets. Well, they don't have that life experience and that maturity that special operators do. I think at one time I calculated the mean age and just B company was like 39 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
we're a bunch of old dudes, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and a few of us with a little gray hair, and all of us have a lot of gray hair now.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think it's critical that you understand the whole picture and what's going on. But yeah, the things that a human sees and that you try to process is difficult.
Yep.
It is. It really is.